What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to take a look at a game where my plan comes together perfectly. And of course, I get a little bit lucky too, getting to lock onto this forbidden fruit turn one. And I think that Storybook Brawl is a lot about both getting lucky and having a plan and having an idea of what you're going to do in those cases when you do get lucky. And that is exactly what we're going to be taking a look at today. We're going to be using a strategy that I actually outlined specifically in my recent review of the new June patch for Storybook Brawl. So I thought this was a really exciting one. Everything just comes together exactly how I draw it up. And of course, like I said, we are going to wind up getting pretty lucky here as well, getting to win some of our early combats and then getting an early triple with the golden chicken. That is going to allow us to pick up runestones, which I've always said is very good with Apoc, because once you hit level 6, it becomes a little bit easier to grab some of those tier 6 triples, which with runestones can result in a tier 7 treasure. And we just got a really sweet tier 7 treasure added to the game in Radiant Prism, which also works pretty well with what Apoc is doing. So that is what we are going to take a look at in this one, locking on to the Genie's Wish, because that could potentially give us some XP on the cheap, and selling off the golden chicken so that way we can clear out the shop fully. So first things first, let's rip the Genie's Wish and see just how lucky we are this game. And unfortunately, it's going to be a magic research, so we're not super lucky, but we're still doing pretty good here. And we're going to add to this board, I think, by picking up a baby root. It looks pretty good with some of the units that we're already rocking. And then I'm thinking I might sell off the goat to either pick up the water wraith or the lucky. And I think it should just be the lucky, speaking of trying to get lucky this game. But when you are still playing down on units, we only have 5 units right now, lucky definitely helps, because you can just add those things that you get discounted right to the board, and that's going to give you additional gold to roll for XP or roll for just stronger units in whichever case. So we'll get to pick up a Bad Billy Gruff for free. I'm eschewing on picking up the Cindy because I don't want to use Cindy to activate runestones, and then I'll pick up another golden chicken to end this turn off. And just picking up the Romeos because they're 5/3s, not really caring about the fact that we've got a pair. In fact, I'd like to not triple them, but potentially we'll find like a Juliet just to make us stronger. We do get to pick up some XP here, a Wish Upon a Star, but we are facing up against an undefeated Loki, so we're going to need some help. I pick up this Lonely Prince, thinking that Lonely Prince plus the Ogre Princess could maybe help us win. We'll pick up the Ogre to give the Lonely +4/+4, and I do still have to figure out what I want my board to be for this turn. Do I want to play Mad Mim or not is really the question. And I do go back and forth on this a little bit. Is the +3 on the Crafty and the Ogre Princess going to be more fruitful? There's also some interesting things like, is 4 health a breakpoint? Should the Crafty be fine with 4 health? Do I want the Baby Root instead supporting Romeo? And those are really tough questions that are always super hard to answer. This is what I wind up going with. Let me know if this is the board you would have played. It works out well for us though, because the Romeo would have still died to the Ogre Princess, but my opponent has a Humpty Dumpty as their last unit, so we are not going to win and get that extra XP. We're still an XP up on the rest of the lobby though, so that's great. And I'm eyeing up this board. I just want to be as strong as I possibly can now, and I'm thinking, okay, well, we can replace Mad Mim and Baby Root with a pair of mage supports. That seems fine. This is a pretty big upgrade for us as well, and I do have to consider if I would potentially want to add Gingerbread Knight to the board, and I think I do. It's just a 7/7, so again, it's a little bit of an improvement over Romeo. Romeo, again, I'm just trying to play like the most stats here in all possible scenarios, and I realize that the Heartwood Elder that we found is also Just a little bit better than Romeo, 5-7 as opposed to a 5-3. If we find a Juliet, of course, then the Romeos start to look a little bit cleaner. And then again, same kind of thing with like the breakpoints. Do we want to play the Crafty in the double support spot, or would we rather play the Frog Prince there? And all of these are questions that are really, really tough to answer in a vacuum, but we're strong enough here to walk away with a tie, so things are looking pretty good. And then I'm also thinking Friendly Spirit is really, really well set up for the current board. So I'm going to take Friendly Spirit and then wind up rolling a little bit, finding a second Friendly Spirit. So that is looking really good. I'll sell off the Crafty to pick that one up. And then I'm also debating Monster Book, but I think that we are strong enough right now without the Monster Book. And then this is definitely the best way to organize this board. You could arguably put the Heartwood Elder in instead of the Lonely Prince, but I'm debating the Monster Book, and then I'm also just debating trying to save my gold, which is my Golden Chickens and my Romeos, to find some more XP. And I think that ultimately that is going to serve us better. I think that we are strong enough with this setup. Friendly Spirit with a full support background. We could take an Amy to give us even more full support, but I think that this is going to be good enough, and it looks like it will be, though my opponent also has a full support background. So unfortunately, they are actually going to outdo us here. They get the hit on us for 5 damage. So we take a little bit and almost puts us into Gingerbread Knight range. But at this point, I'm really, really interested in XP. I think that we could take one more ranged unit, either the Robin Wood or the Lady of the Lake. And then actually, as I put in the Robin Wood, I start to think about the Lady of the Lake as well to just replace this tree, and this is going to make us a lot stronger. We could go for the Merlin's Test here too. That would be good, though currently the Robin Wood is pumping up the Friendly Spirit, so we don't really need additional buffs, and I would like to find some XP before we hit level 6. Next turn, I'm basically planning on, like, now we are really, really strong with this Robin Wood, and now 4 support or 4 ranged setup with the Friendly Spirits all getting a ton of buffs. I'm going to spend the entire next turn just rolling for XP, and then hopefully the turn after that, casting some XP. So that's the plan, and we're looking pretty good here with these Friendly Spirits. We even get Friendly onto Friendly, so that's just going to make us absolutely huge, and our backline will chip down at my opponent's Robin Wood while everything attacks into our huge Robin Wood in the front. So interestingly here, we are going to find some triples. We are going to see, okay, a bunch of Gingerbread Knights. Oh, this is a good play too here to go for the spinning gold. Finally finding a Juliet, but then we also see a Lady of the Lake and we see a Friendly Spirit. I don't want anything to do with them. We do find some XP as well, so that's great. I cast the spinning gold this turn because I knew we're not going to cast the XP this turn. We're going to lock onto it and cast it next turn. And maybe with the spinning gold, we could do something really amazing here. We could have 12 gold for the turn, 3 gold for the spinning gold, 9 gold when we sell all of our units, and then 4 more gold when we sell all of our chickens. So what's that? That's 14 plus 13. That's 27 gold. We use 5 of it to cast the Wish Upon a Star. 22 gold plus a board full of tier 2 units. So that could be really, really sweet. My opponent going to be getting some bonus gold for themselves as well, so don't count them out either. But we're looking really good here with all of these ranged units. So we get the spinning gold. We're just going to have a ton of gold for the turn. Let's sell all of this off. See if I did my math right as well. Yeah, 28 gold actually, so I was off by 1. And then we get a board full of units, so we don't actually have the Echo Wood yet, but I think regardless, whatever we go into, we're gonna want that Echo Wood. And then I'm gonna pick up 2 pairs, one of the Pumpkin King. Is it a Pumpkin King? One of the Great Pumpkin, and then one of Oni Tyrant. Nothing is a king anymore, except for King Arthur. And then we'll just try our best to get everything onto this board. I do consider the Gumblegore. It is a monster, and it would work well with the Pumpkin. It also works well with both Hercules and Doombreath. So there's definitely some incentives for picking up the Gumblegore, but I think I just want to try to triple one of these tier 2 units, or one of these tier 6 units that we already have. One of these units that we have 2 of is what I meant to say. Oni King is going to do some work in terms of pumping up the Echo Wood, and then Hercules is also going to do some nice work as well, getting in a few combats. Unfortunately, Hercules was a little bit shafted because my opponent had that Robin Wood, so that got a little bit annoying. But we will start to roll here, and then we will pick up a... I'm not going to go for the Masquerade Ball. It's only 1 look, and I think 2 rolls is just better. We could even throw in a 3rd roll, sell off like Bear Stain or something like that, and we get to do exactly that. We can sell off Bear Stain here, pick up a triple of Oni Tyrant, and that is a snap Radiant Prism. There is certainly some merit to picking up Holy Grail here, and I think it would be really good. Part of the reason that I think that this strategy is so effective is because you have Holy Grail and Radiant Prism both at your disposal when you're going for tier 7s, and just makes the overall power level of tier 7 so strong. But one of the things that I really wanted to try out that I thought was just so cool with Apocalypse is you always have all of these random strategies that don't quite fit together, and then all of a sudden they do. Now Doom Breath gets pumped up when our Oni King attacks. Lordy is giving our whole team a bunch of bonuses, and this just makes us massively, massively strong right now. We're also going to be able to get a tier 6 treasure from that Hercules, and well, Spear of Achilles makes us the strongest for the board, and Beginning Stone gives us some way to grow, but I'm going big. I'm taking the Mimic Chest. It doesn't currently have any interactions with our current board, but I think it could. So I'm going to pick up the Mimic Chest, and then I'm going to sell off the Hercules so that I can Knighthood a Lordy. Knighthooding Lordy is definitely really, really sweet when you've got the Radiant Prism here. So now everything is going to get, so it's 7 times 4, which is 28, right? Yeah. So everything's going to get plus 28 at the start of the combat, which means that Echo Wood is going to get even more than that. And that's going to be from the Burning Tree getting hit, and then also just everything getting pumped up. So Echo Wood is in the 200s already, and then Doom Breath gets to go in. Anytime something attacks, it's getting additional bonuses from the Oni Tyrant, and we're just massive, hitting this Zelhua for 13. We're not going to be able to take anybody out right away, but I am going to try to make another tier 6 treasure happen. If we can find that 9th Book of Merlin, that would be absolutely fantastic. So here we will get to lock onto Burning Tree. If we find 9th Book of Merlin, then we also get to pick up a Copycat, which is just absolutely nuts and would be really, really cool. So we've got the potential to just go Exodia and beyond comp with this game and do something really spectacular. I think that we are also still strong enough for where we found ourselves, and that is really, I mean, the main thing that I wanted to showcase, I think in either the video either yesterday or 2 days ago, is a lot of times you're going to take Radiant Prism and it's not going to do that much when you first pick it up. But Apoc's different. When Apoc can get a Radiant Prism, it is just immediately amazing, and that is exactly what we are going to see here. This is a little bit awkward. We're not able to battle through my opponent's trees super easily, but we will get through them all eventually, and the Oni Tyrant does help us there as well, and we'll hit my opponent for 11 damage there. Now we are picking up the Burning Tree, playing up against the Ghost, and none of these, unfortunately, are 9th Book of Merlin, but I learned my lesson from last week. Let's just pick up the Phoenix Feather, and now we've got Phoenix Feather Mimic Chest, so that is going to make this Apocalypse quite strong regardless here. And then I will throw in a few more rolls, and I think we'll just roll down here against the Ghost, not finding anything super exciting, but I'm hoping that we're not going to let our opponents a chance to catch up. This is a cool unit to pick up potentially too. The Court Wizard when we've got the Oni Tyrant, that is a really cool combination with everything else that we've got going on. But I think I want to try to roll and find a triple of these pumpkins, potentially find a 9th Book of Merlin that way. So I just don't think it's worth locking on to and spending the gold. But hoping that either Snow Angel or Zelhua can take each other out, and then we can clean up the pieces there in the end and find ourselves with an easy win before anybody can go too crazy. Because we didn't find the 9th Book of Merlin, but this is going to be probably the final combat, or at the very least, we only have one more opponent left. I'll pick up another Lordy to give everything an additional +2/+2, and I think we can cut the Doom Breath. Main reason being, we know that my opponents have had Soul Tack, so it's just a little bit awkward, and if I want to pick up an Echo Wood, I've got to sell 3 things, so I think it's also Oni Tyrant's time to go as well. Like I said, one of the cool things with the Radiant Prism is it means that you can field a board of just Lordies and Echo Woods, so all of that is pretty cool. And then Lordy is acting like the Ashwood Elm in this scenario. Lordy is pumping up Burning Tree, and then Burning Tree is going to be able to pump up the Echo Woods even more additionally. So that's really cool. I'm trying to put my Lordies first as well, so that way we actually have space for the Mimic Chest Phoenix Feather. We want some of our things to die on this board, and looks like that is going to happen. We are going to have our Lordy go down before our Echo Wood does, and our backline Echo Wood is a little bit stronger. It must have had like a spell cast on it or something. Wasn't paying super close attention there, but this Echo Wood will actually not even wind up dying. We will just take my opponent out with the front line. It's not going to be enough to get the kill, and they have a Phoenix Feather as well, but it's not going to be enough to get the kill onto my opponent. But would you look at this shop? This is something cool. So now we can play, I think, a pretty basic Radiant Prism comp, but still a very cool comp, because it's not something that you would have ever imagined would have been this viable. But we are just going to be picking up a Good Boy plus a Lordy on this turn, and now the Lordy is going to give, all of these Lordies are going to give a bunch of stats to the Good Boy, and then the Good Boy is going to give a bunch of stats back to everything else. And I think this is how you want to play this board. It's tough, and one of the tricks with Radiant Prism is we're going to find is everything works. So what do you cut? We cut the Oni Tyrant, we cut the Doom Breath. Those were good, but maybe we can do a little bit better with this. Do we want to be playing that Pumpkin? Do we want to be playing that Burning Tree? I don't know. I'm just figuring it out here too. So we'll find out now. The Good Boy going to give +50/+50 to everything, which means that my Echo Woods are absolutely massive. We also find ourselves with a pair of Cupids, so that is going to be nice in terms of getting rid of some of my opponent's stuff. And then we do still have this Echo Wood with the Phoenix Feather Mimic Chest. My opponent going to trade with one of them because they've got 1 Phoenix Feather, but we got 2, and that is going to be enough to clutch the win there. So pretty sweet game. I thought this one was a lot of fun, really just because in my patch review, I basically drew out the entire game plan. I said, you find an early Runestones, you take it to the end with you, you find that Radiant Prism, and you just play all of the tier 6 units, and you can put together something pretty powerful. Plus, you might find some additional tier 6 treasures after that too. So all of that really, really fantastic. Hopefully you guys are having fun with the new patch, and this gives some additional ideas for how to make the Radiant Prism work. That is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.